Yo, hip-hop fans, sit down and hold on tight because Jim Jones just dropped a revelation that has the streets, social media, and the entire rap world in absolute shock. For years, fans have been watching 50 Cent and Drake dominate the charts, collaborate on tracks, and keep the industry buzzing. But what if everything we saw was just the surface? According to Jim Jones, there's a hidden feud simmering between 50 Cent and Drake. Yes, TWO of the biggest names in rap, and most people had no idea this tension even existed. He hints at secret jabs in tracks, backstage drama, and subtle moves in the industry that have kept fans completely in the dark. This isn't just a casual disagreement. Jim claims it's a game-changing rift that could impact collaborations, label decisions, and even the dynamics of hip-hop's biggest players for years to come. Social media is already on fire. Fans are dissecting every verse, every interview, every post, looking for the clues Jim Jones just revealed. Some are defending Drake, some are siding with 50 Cent. But everyone agrees, this is massive, explosive, and shocking. The question now is, what happens next? Will 50 Cent respond? Will Drake address this? Or will the feud quietly simmer behind closed doors? Stick around, because we're about to break down every secret, every hint, and every shocking detail you won't hear anywhere else. The hip-hop world is no stranger to drama, but every once in a while, something hits that shakes the foundation of the entire industry. And today, we're diving deep into a revelation that has fans, insiders, and even casual listeners talking nonstop. Jim Jones, one of the most respected figures in Harlem's rap scene, recently came forward with details that no one expected. A hidden feud between 50 Cent and Drake, two of the biggest names in modern hip-hop. Now, on the surface, 50 Cent and Drake have seemed like they're coexisting peacefully in the industry. Drake, the global superstar from Toronto, has dominated charts and awards for years. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, the Geonit boss and legendary rapper, continues to influence hip-hop with his business acumen, street credibility, and knack for spotting opportunities before anyone else. Fans have seen them collaborate indirectly, share stages, and appear in interviews without conflict. But according to Jim Jones, appearances can be deceiving. Jim revealed that this feud didn't happen overnight. He claims it stemmed from long-standing competitive energy that exists between any two top-tier artists in the industry. He explained that both 50 Cent and Drake are incredibly strategic about their careers, always looking for ways to maintain dominance. Jim went on to suggest that subtle moves, including lyrical jabs in songs, selective collaborations, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering may have been signs of underlying tension that most fans didn't pick up on. The shocking part? Jim says some of this feud is fueled by insider politics and label dynamics. He mentioned that record labels, managers, and even collaborators have quietly influenced interactions between the two, making the feud even more complex than a simple personal disagreement. According to him, what seems like friendly competition publicly may actually be calculated positioning, designed to benefit one side while undermining the other, all behind closed doors. Social media reaction has been immediate. Within hours of Jim Jones dropping this revelation, fans took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to debate and dissect every possible clue. Some point to lyrics from 50 Cent's recent releases as subtle jabs at Drake, while others scrutinize Drake's features and interviews for indirect responses. Memes exploded, threads popped up on Reddit, and hip-hop forums lit up with speculation, all fueled by the idea that this feud had been hiding in plain sight for years. Jim also highlighted one of the most evades. I like to exclude munt, like with things. Like, look at this, and we all know I've been exploring that. And we all know I've been exploring that path. And hip-hop forums lit up. With scro ski bombs. With speeds, all fueled. With screes, scrouf. I've said by we, to see we see with can covers. Commend. I see if we have a we with 6 way, we are at AD 7K. We say to you, I can see, we can like, I can like a see to we see, we set to we you to like, I can to sit to me, you to I to you want you to you to I could kick you to with suck to with I would kick up, but after you wait, I surprising elements. He claims that neither 50 Cent nor Drake has publicly acknowledged the tension, yet their teams are fully aware of it. This is a key detail because it suggests a level of professionalism, or perhaps strategic silence, that keeps the feud under the radar. According to Jim, this secrecy is deliberate. He says they know the streets will overreact. They know fans will take sides. So they let the rumors swirl, let people speculate, and continue to make moves quietly. This makes the feud even more dangerous because it could explode at any moment, especially if a new collaboration feature or public statement triggers a reaction. One insider source, Jim mentioned, even hinted at missed opportunities for collaborations. Projects that could have featured both 50 Cent and Drake were reportedly stalled or canceled because of disagreements behind the scenes. While nothing was publicly confirmed, it's clear that the tension has had real-world consequences on the industry, affecting not just the artists themselves, but their labels, producers, and collaborators. Another explosive claim from Jim is that the feud has roots in early interactions that most fans don't remember. He referenced events from over a decade ago where minor misunderstandings, perceived disrespect, or competitive energy between Drake and 50 Cent's camps may have planted the seeds of this feud. While it may have seemed trivial at the time, Jim explains that in the world of hip-hop, even small incidents can snowball into long-term grudges, especially when careers, money, and legacy are involved. What makes this story even more captivating is Jim Jones' perspective as someone who has seen both sides up close. Being part of the Harlem rap scene, working with major artists, and understanding the industry politics gives him a unique vantage point. He knows the players, the personalities, and the power moves, which is why fans are taking his claims seriously. Unlike social media speculation, Jim is speaking from experience, adding credibility to what many would otherwise dismiss as rumor. So, what does this mean for the fans? It means that every track, every public appearance, and every collaboration should be examined with a new lens. Lyrics that once seemed harmless may now be interpreted as subtle shots. Collaborations that didn't happen could now be understood as evidence of underlying tension. And social media posts, even something as small as a like comment or omission, could be feeding fuel to the fire. Jim Jones also dropped a hint that the feud isn't personal in the way most people think. It's not about disrespect, insults, or public arguments. Instead, he frames it as a strategic power play, where each artist is trying to assert dominance in the industry while navigating alliances, collaborations, and public perception. It's a reminder that in hip-hop, the game is often as much about business and influence as it is about music and talent. Fans are now left wondering, will 50 Cent respond? Will Drake break his silence? And how long has this been going on behind the scenes without us knowing? Jim warns that if either artist reacts publicly, it could ignite one of the most explosive moments in hip-hop history, drawing in other rappers, media, and fans worldwide. Will break down the specific incidents, tracks, and behind the scenes moves that Jim Jones claims are fueling this feud. We'll analyze the subtle jabs, the canceled collaborations, and the insider moves that make this story one of the biggest shocks of the year in hip-hop. Trust me, you do not want to miss this, because the details Jim is revealing could change the way you see 50 Cent, Drake, and the dynamics of the entire rap game. We laid the groundwork. Jim Jones revealed a hidden tension simmering between 50 Cent and Drake, and now it's time to dive deeper. Here's where it gets really interesting. We're talking specific incidents, subtle lyrical jabs, and behind-the-scenes moves that fans didn't even realize were part of this feud. First, let's talk about tracks and lyrics. Jim hinted that some of 50 Cent's recent releases include indirect shots aimed at Drake, masked as generic lines but packed with layers that only insiders could decode. For example, 50's clever references to new rappers acting like kings, or fake loyalty in the industry may not name Drake directly. But the context, timing, and placement suggest these bars were more than casual commentary. Meanwhile, Drake has responded in his own way, not with overt disses, but subtle lyrical choices and features and verses that hint at disagreement or frustration with 50 Cent's influence in the industry. Beyond the music, Jim Jones exposed behind-the-scenes industry moves that fans rarely see. He talked about label politics, collaborations that were suddenly canceled, and meetings that were allegedly scheduled but never happened. For instance, there were supposed to be high-profile collaborations that would have paired Drake with 50 Cent's artists' projects that were quietly scrapped, supposedly due to misalignment or disagreements between camps. These cancellations, while subtle to the public, fuel the narrative that something is brewing below the surface. Then there's the social media angle. Fans may not realize that likes, comments, or even omissions on Instagram or Twitter can send messages in the rap world. Jim Jones highlighted moments where 50 Cent or Drake subtly avoided interacting with each other's posts, small gestures that fans may dismiss, but insiders see them as signals of tension. In the digital age, every action is amplified and the streets are paying close attention. Another shocking revelation Jim made concerns the alliances and mutual contacts between their camps. He mentioned that some artists who work with both 50 Cent and Drake have been caught in the middle, navigating loyalty and discretion. These middlemen are critical because they're often privy to private conversations, track previews, and deal negotiations, and when those middlemen notice tension, rumors inevitably spread. This gives credibility to the idea that the feud isn't just public speculation. It's rooted in real interactions behind closed doors. Jim also touched on the history between the two artists, pointing out that the feud didn't start recently. According to him, small incidents over the past decade, misunderstandings, perceived disrespect, and competition for dominance slowly built up a simmering tension, while both 50 Cent and Drake publicly maintained a respectful facade. Jim says that strategic positioning and rivalry have always been present, waiting for the right moment to surface. Interestingly, Jim revealed that some of the biggest fans and followers of the feud might not even know the real reason behind it. He claims that it's not personal hatred or drama for drama's sake. It's a clash of influence, legacy, and power in the rap industry. Both 50 Cent and Drake are highly competitive. And when two personalities that big collide in an industry where business, influence, and public image matter as much as talent, tension is inevitable. Jim Jones also hinted at a potential explosive turning point. He suggested that upcoming collaborations, public appearances, or even interviews could act as a trigger, making the feud go public in a way the rap world has never seen before. If either artist responds publicly, it could create a ripple effect, pulling in other artists, fans, and media outlets into the storm. Imagine the implications: every media outlet, podcast, and social platform discussing the first real clash between two modern legends. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Jim indicated that other artists and influencers in hip-hop are already aware of the tension. Some are carefully watching, while others might even be trying to mediate, capitalize, or subtly fan the flames. In the competitive world of rap, information is power, and the knowledge of this hidden feud gives certain players an edge. Jim's insight into these dynamics shows that this isn't just about two artists. It's about an entire network of influence, power, and strategy. The fan reaction has been nothing short of insane. Social media exploded the moment Jim dropped the revelation. Twitter threads dissect every lyric, Reddit forums debate the history, and TikTok users are piecing together clues from years of tracks, interviews, and social media behavior. It's clear that hip-hop fans are hungry for the truth, and Jim Jones has given them something tangible to discuss and dissect. Jim's perspective is especially valuable because he has connections and credibility in both Harlem and the wider industry, meaning he's seen firsthand how artists interact behind the scenes. His credibility gives weight to what might otherwise be dismissed as speculation. This is insider information, the kind of scoop that fans crave and media outlets scramble to verify. This feud, while hidden, has the potential to affect more than just public perception. It could influence collaborations, label partnerships, tours, and even streaming numbers. In hip-hop, where timing, reputation, and momentum are everything, even a subtle feud can have far-reaching consequences. Jim's revelation isn't just gossip, it's a glimpse into the complex, high-stakes world of modern rap, where every move is calculated and every alliance matters. So far, we've explored the hidden tension, the subtle jabs, and the behind-the-scenes industry moves that. Jim Jones' claims are fueling a secret feud between 50 Cent and Drake. We're breaking down the fallout reactions. And what could happen next? The moments that might completely reshape the hip-hop landscape. First, let's talk about the potential reactions from the two artists. Jim hinted that both 50 Cent and Drake have been keeping their responses strategic and calculated. Neither has acknowledged the feud publicly, but that doesn't mean the tension isn't felt behind the scenes. Sources close to both camps suggest that advisors, managers, and label executives have been monitoring interactions, ensuring that public appearances, collaborations, and media statements don't escalate the situation prematurely. Every handshake, every social media post, every verse released could be interpreted as a signal, intentional or not. Now, imagine if this tension finally explodes in public. Jim's claim suggests that a single interview, track, or appearance could trigger a massive reaction. Fans would dissect every line, every comment, and every move in real time, creating viral moments across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Podcasts would break down every detail. Hip-hop forums would explode. And media outlets would scramble to provide commentary and updates. A feud this high-profile isn't just a story, it's a cultural event. And it could dominate hip-hop news for weeks or months. Next, we need to consider how the industry itself could be impacted. Collaborations, business partnerships, and even tours could be affected if either 50 Cent or Drake decides to leverage this feud for strategic purposes. Jim Jones explained that some artists in the industry have already been quietly choosing sides, while others are staying neutral, waiting to see who gains the upper hand. These alliances could influence everything from album releases to streaming numbers to appearances at award shows. In hip-hop, alliances matter as much as bars. And a feud of this magnitude could shift the balance of power. Fans are already analyzing past events in a new light. Tracks that were previously interpreted as neutral or playful now carry a different meaning. For instance, lines from 50 Cent's last album, subtle references in Drake's recent features, or even indirect nods to other artists are being reevaluated as potential hints in this feud. Social media debates have reached a fever pitch, with fans creating timelines, breaking down lyrics, and comparing every move from both camps. Jim Jones' revelation has effectively reframed the narrative, turning ordinary industry interactions into potentially explosive evidence. But Jim didn't stop there. He also revealed that some of the biggest players in hip-hop are quietly involved. Advisors, managers, and collaborators are positioning themselves in anticipation of a public eruption. Some may act as mediators, others as strategists, and a few could even capitalize on the tension for their own gain. This highlights how interconnected the industry really is, and why a feud between two stars like 50 Cent and Drake could ripple far beyond just their own careers. Another critical point Jim emphasized is that this feud is more about influence than personal animosity. He explained that both 50 Cent and Drake are operating in a hyper-competitive industry where reputation, dominance, and legacy are everything. The tension isn't fueled by personal dislike, but by the stakes of power and control. Who's running the game? Who's calling the shots in the streets and in the charts? And who has the ability to influence the next generation of artists? According to Jim, these questions are at the heart of the hidden feud, making it far more consequential than a typical rap disagreement. Jim also hinted at the possibility of future collaborations being affected. Projects that could have brought the two artists together may now be in jeopardy. Producers, featured artists, and label executives are watching carefully, aware that any interaction between 50 Cent and Drake could either heal the tension or escalate it into something massive. This means that the feud isn't just a story, it has real-world implications for the music industry, affecting everything from creative projects to financial opportunities. As we look at fan reactions, it's clear that social media has amplified the story like never before. Fans are taking sides, dissecting every lyric and debating timelines and motives. TikTok videos analyzing verses, Instagram posts highlighting interactions, and Reddit threads mapping out the history of tension have all gone viral. Jim Jones' revelation has sparked a wave of speculation, analysis, and conversation that shows no signs of slowing down. Finally, Jim left fans with a warning. The feud could escalate at any moment. A single track, verse, or public appearance could ignite a full-blown clash. And when that happens, everyone, fans, artists, media, and industry insiders will be watching closely. He emphasized that the stakes are high and that this feud could redefine modern hip-hop history, influencing everything from alliances to collaborations to the legacy of both 50 Cent and Drake. So, what's next? Will 50 Cent address the feud? Will Drake finally respond? Or will the tension remain behind the scenes, simmering until the perfect moment to erupt? One thing is certain, Jim Jones has pulled back the curtain, and the rap world will never look at 50 Cent and Drake the same way again. This is more than gossip. This is a window into the complex, high-stakes world of hip-hop, where influence, power, and strategy collide with talent and fame. And thanks to Jim Jones, fans now have the insider perspective that could change the way we see two of the biggest icons in the industry. Yo, hip-hop fans, if you thought it was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Jim Jones has pulled back the curtain on a hidden feud between 50 Cent and Drake that's been simmering behind the scenes for years. And now it's up to you to join the conversation. Comment below and tell us what you think. Is this feud real, or is it just industry maneuvering? Who do you side with, 50 Cent or Drake? Every lyric, every track, and every social media move suddenly has a whole new meaning, and we want to hear your hot takes. Don't hold back. This is the perfect place for fans to break down every detail, debate every subtle jab, and predict what's going to happen next. And make sure you smash that like button if you're as shook as we are. Jim Jones dropping these revelations is a game changer for hip-hop, and your support helps us bring you more explosive content like this. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when or any future drama drops, because in the world of rap, things move fast and you don't want to miss a single update. Share this video with your crew, your friends, and anyone who lives for hip-hop drama. Trust me, they're going to want to see this. The streets are talking, the industry is buzzing, and the feud is just heating up. Be part of the conversation because this is the story that everyone will be talking about for weeks.